I've always had a special connection with Epcot. While most Disney fans obsess over Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios for the thrill rides, I've always been drawn to Epcot's vision of tomorrow and celebration of human innovation. My favorite attraction? Living with the Land. Most people see it as just a slow boat ride through some greenhouses. But to me, it represents humanity's potential to solve our greatest challenges through science. I'd ride it 3, sometimes 4 times per visit, soaking in every detail of the agricultural experiments. That's why I was so excited when I scored tickets to Epcot's exclusive After Dark event. Limited capacity, shorter lines, and extended hours until 1 a.m. Most attendees would spend all their time on Guardians of the Galaxy or the World Showcase, leaving the less popular attractions practically empty. Perfect for someone like me, who wanted to spend quality time at Living with the Land without feeling rushed. The event started at 9 p.m. I spent the first couple of hours hitting some of the more popular attractions, while the initial crowds thinned out. Around 11:30 p.m., I made my way to the Land Pavilion. As expected, the place was nearly deserted, and weirdly, the entrance to the building had a key in the door, as if it was supposed to be locked. Most of the food court had closed, lights dimmed throughout the building. I headed downstairs toward the Living with the Land entrance. The queue area was completely empty. I thought they had closed it, but as I turned to leave, I noticed a cast member standing in the shadows near the entrance. She was wearing the standard uniform, but something seemed off about her appearance. Her name tag read Katie, but the font looked slightly different than the standard Disney tags. Her smile remained fixed as I approached. "Is Living with the Land closed?" I asked. "Not for those who truly appreciate it," she replied, her voice oddly monotone. "You can board if you'd like. You'll be the only one." I felt a twinge of unease, but quickly dismissed it. This was my chance to experience my favorite ride completely alone. I thanked her and walked through the empty queue. The boarding area was dimly lit, with just one boat waiting at the station. No other cast members were present. "Just step in, the boat will start automatically," Katie called from behind me, still not moving from her position. I carefully stepped into the front row of the boat. True to her word, it jerked forward as soon as I was seated, entering the first scene of the ride. The familiar voice of the narrator began, though it sounded slightly distorted, like it was wavering unnaturally. As the boat drifted through the rainforest scene, which I'd been through hundreds of times, I noticed a dark liquid dripping from one of the trees. At first I thought it was part of the water effects, but the liquid was too thick and dark. It collected in small pools on the artificial forest floor. Then in the prairie scene, the audio just cut out mid-sentence. The awkward silence hung heavy for several moments before the narration resumed. But now it was just scattered words and phrases, disconnected and eerie. Then the scarecrow back in the shadows slowly turned its head to follow my boat, something I'd never seen it do before. The boat continued into the greenhouse section, my favorite part of the ride. The scenes appeared normal at first, the same plants in various stages of growth, same hydroponic systems. But as I looked closer, I noticed strange modifications to some of the plants. One tomato plant had what looked like small pulsating sacs attached to its stem. Another plant's leaves appeared to be covered in fine translucent hair that swayed despite the lack of air movement. As we passed the fish farming section, I realized none of the tanks contained fish. Instead, dark shapes pressed against the glass. In one tank, what looked like a webbed hand slid down the glass as my boat passed by. The narration had stopped completely now, replaced by a low humming, punctuated by occasional whispers too faint to make out. The boat slowed as it approached the final greenhouse section. but instead of continuing straight as it always had, it veered sharply to the left, toward what I had always assumed was just a wall with projected images on it. The wall slid open, revealing a hidden passage. My heart raced as the boat entered a section of the ride I didn't know existed. It was another greenhouse with a sickly glow emanating from large tanks lining both sides of the water channel. Each tank contained fluid in shapes, human-like shapes, floating in suspension. A new narration began. The voice no longer the friendly guide, but a cold, clinical one.
Welcome to Living with the Land's true research facility. For decades, Walt Disney World has been at the forefront of not just agricultural innovation, but biological engineering beyond what the public can comprehend or accept. However, you being our special elite class guest will probably not be all that surprised by what you will see.
The boat moved slowly past tanks containing progressively more disturbing specimens. What first appeared to be failed plant hybridization experiments gradually gave way to something far worse, attempts at merging animal genetics. I saw rodents with grotesquely large heads and extended limbs, waterfowl with facial structures disturbingly altered to approximate human features.
The characters that bring joy to millions didn't spring from mere costumes and voice actors. True magic requires sacrifice, experimentation, and breakthrough.
I felt bile rising in my throat as I realized what I was seeing. Failed attempts at creating living versions of Disney characters. A tank labeled M-Series Attempt 37 contained what was unmistakably a mouse, but enlarged to the size of a small child. Its head bulbous and round, with large black masses where ears should be. Its eyes were open, watching me with unmistakable awareness and suffering.
The early experiments were crude, but we improve with each generation. The rejects you see here provided valuable data.
The voice continued. The boat turned a corner into a large chamber. Along the walls were glass containment units, each holding a horrific approximation of a beloved character. A duck with humanoid limbs and a sailor outfit grafted into its flesh. A dog standing upright with a perpetual forced grin, revealing gigantic teeth. A small deer whose legs have been disturbingly elongated, its eyes wide with terror. At the center of the room stood control panels and monitoring equipment surrounding a large switch marked Stasis Control.
Without continuous sedation, the failures become problematic,
the voice explained.
Their existence is painful, but their termination would waste valuable research assets.
My hand moved, almost without conscious thought, and as the boat drifted past the center console, I lunged forward and grabbed the switch, pulling it down with all my strength. Alarms immediately blared through the facility. The green lighting turned to flashing red. The tanks lining the walls began to drain, and containment doors slowly opened.
Stasis protocols disengaged. Containment breach in progress.
The boat's automated system apparently triggered an emergency protocol as it suddenly accelerated forward, continuing through the facility. Behind me, I heard glass breaking and the wet sounds of movement. Inhuman shrieks and moans echoed through the chamber. The boat emerged into another section that appeared to be a holding area for successful specimens, creatures that much more closely resembled the characters they were based on. They too were waking up, their containment pods opening, but unlike the rejects, these moved with purpose and intelligence behind their eyes.
All Living with the Land personnel, this is not a drill. Containment breach in Sector M. Specimens are active.
The boat continued forward, entering what appeared to be a maintenance tunnel. Behind me, lights were shutting down sequentially as emergency doors attempted to close, but many were blocked by emerging specimens. I could hear running footsteps and shouting from unseen staff members, followed by screams. Finally, the boat emerged into the normal unloading area, coming to an abrupt stop at the platform. I scrambled out, nearly falling in my haste. The pavilion was now in full emergency mode, lights flashing, alarms sounding, and an automated announcement asking all guests to proceed to the nearest exit. Cast members, looking genuinely terrified, were rushing around. None of them stopped to question me as I joined the flow of confused after-hours guests being evacuated from the building. Outside, security vehicles were converging on the land pavilion. Men and women in black uniforms that definitely weren't standard Disney security poured into the building, carrying equipment I couldn't identify. I blended in with other guests being escorted toward the park exit. Behind us, I could hear the sounds of containment doors, sealing, and what might have been muffled explosions from within the pavilion. As we reached the park exit, an announcement informed us that due to a technical malfunction, the event was ending early. Compensation would be provided. Please check your email for details. I never received any email. When I returned to EPCOT a few days later, I had to see for myself. Living with the Land was operational, exactly as it had always been. The same scenes, the same narration, no hidden passage, no secret lab. When I asked a cast member about the evacuation during the after-hours event, she smiled the practiced Disney smile and assured me there had been a minor electrical issue, nothing more. But I know what I saw. And sometimes when the boat passes through the final section, I swear, I can hear faint scratching from behind the walls, as if something's trying to get out. Something that remembers me. And I never go to Disney after dark anymore.